Time to relax and watch some YouTube. Oh, what's this? JK posted a new video? Can I beat FromSoft's hardest bosses without getting hit? Pfft, I can do that. Before we jump in, let's go over the rules real fast. In general, no hit is pretty self-explanatory, but I do have some special caveats to mention. First, a hit is simply taking damage from an enemy. Technically, there are shields with 100% block, but that seemed against the spirit of the run, so I didn't allow those. What is allowed though is taking environmental or self-damage. So, things like the Blighttown Swamp or fall damage are perfectly fine if I'm trying to set up RTSR. Besides, I have zero idea how to get into Nito's boss arena without taking any damage, so yeah. On the topic of RTSR, I'm not going to be doing any one-shots. By now we all know that they are possible, cough cough shameless plug, but I will be using Red Tearstone Ring or Power Within if I grab them. After all, if I can't get hit, then having full health versus 1 HP doesn't really make a difference. Lastly, I'm not going to be doing this as a hard reset run. That sounds about as fun as taking a full-grown cactus, hollowing it out, putting some angry hornets in it, wrapping it in sandpaper, dipping it in lemon juice, putting it on the ground, climbing up to the second story, and jumping onto it ass first. Instead, I'm going to be using a tool that can store and reset my position at the click of a button. As such, I'm going to break this down into two groups. First, bosses, which obviously have to be no-hit. If they aren't, then I must reset the fight either by dying or warping out. And second, from checkpoint to checkpoint, which just means from one bonfire to the next, or from one bonfire to the boss fog. And you know what? Just to sprinkle in some extra pain, bosses have to be done melee only. Well, is what I would like to say, but I actually forgot that at one point, the curse of recording over multiple days with several projects, but nearly all the bosses will be done melee only. Right, I think that's everything. Go ahead and take a guess in the comments below how many hits you think it'll take me. Personally, I'm not sure, but I have a sneaking feeling that the amount of hits to bosses is going to be lower than random crap in the world. I start as Deprived with the Master Key and name her MC Hammer because can't touch this. That joke is going to age poorly, I assure you. As I did not take the black firebombs, I cannot quick kill the Asylum Demon, so I take the side door out and grab my first weapon, the club. After that, I meet with Oscar, who gives me some delicious Sunny D that I have very little use for, and I fight my way through the hollows with a little more caution and fear than I am used to. But in the end, it's no problem, and before long, I get the drop on the demon, even managing to get the double hit. Several bosses, including this one, have some pretty sus hitboxes, so I play extra carefully, and it paid off. That's Asylum down with 0 hits. Stupidly, I don't pay attention and put the points into dexterity. That's not a joke or setup, I literally am just stupid. As per my rules, I now need to get to the Undead Berg bonfire without getting hit, and whoa bro, not cool, calm down. By giving enemies plenty of space, it's not difficult to avoid their attacks. The only thing I had to make sure of was to kill this crossbow one because I have, on many occasions, been shot while sitting at the bonfire. I purchased the reinforced club. I don't know much about speedrunning this game, but outside of tumble buffing, I think this is the speedrunner's weapon of choice. At the very least, it has bleed and good poise damage for enemies that are affected by those. I then pick up the gold pine resin and usually would jump the gap then fail at jumping the barrel, but considering what I'm doing, I simply go through the area normally and finally arrive at the Taurus Demon. Obstacle 1 is dealing with these two archers without getting hit. It doesn't happen frequently, but I've definitely gotten a bolt to the butt while climbing up the ladder. Playing carefully though, it's fine. Now it's time for the big man himself, so I buff with pine resin, climb the ladder, plunge attack for like 45% of his health, and then get Dark Souls 2'd. Cool. Oh, double I learned DS Gadget doesn't reset the world state, just my coordinates. Nice. Welp, walk in and get murdered, then warp back. I decided that these kind of hits do count. Mostly because, I mean, that one probably shouldn't, but where's the line, right? Like, some bosses can land on you, Quelaag and Sif for example, and it does damage, but that was just a glitchy levitation animation. To spare the mental gymnastics, I just kept with the any damage from an enemy is a hit mentality. Second attempt, I decided to fight him on the bridge. I could have lured him to the top for more space, but there was a small part of me that hoped he would just, fall off. That didn't happen though. Regardless, I play very cautiously, giving him loads of space to make sure I don't get shockwaved, and he goes down with a single questionable hit. I then dump his souls into strength and barbecue and farm a few enemies to buy the residence key. Okay game, anytime, please let me sit! I then race through the area and make this jump so I don't have to go through the underground area, making sure to mind the gate. Unlike that guy. For some reason, I thought it would be funny to hit these guys through the wall, but that was absolutely tempting fate. Thankfully, I quickly realized how stupid I was and left for Andre. I bought a single Titanite shard and leveled up my weapon, then went to take out this knight for another. After that, I headed back to Firelink to grab some Homeward Bones, just so I can bail on a situation if I need to, and some Lloyd Talismans that will actually get used later. Leveling up my weapon again, I decide to go into Dark Root to grab the Grass Crest Shield for more stamina regen. The problem here is the Halberd Knight because I am trash at parrying them. Thankfully, I was able to slip by without getting hit, then I descended the elevator into the Valley of Drakes. All I have to do is run across this bridge with several hungry-looking, featherless, hollow-eating chickens and grab a ring. See? No problem at all. At the top, I grab the red Tearstone ring and use one of those homeward bones to avoid falling on a pit of ravenous birds, then sprint my way back out of the Dark Garden. Well, I guess I'm as prepared as I can be for the gargoyles. However, arguably more difficult than the boss is the Gauntlet of Hollows outside. I had a plan, a great plan, a plan to lead them down to the open area of the church and beat them senseless, and it worked! Until one of them slipped off the stairs and landed on me, causing damage. I hate this game. Second try, I equipped the halberd I grabbed for a little extra range, and this proved to be the right choice. The channeler got pushed off the edge, and I decided that was good enough as I didn't want to aggro the other Balder Knights in the area, so I touched my checkpoint fog wall, then proceed to repeatedly break my ankles until I felt empowered and challenged the boss. I opted not to use my resin. Despite that, I still do a considerable amount of damage per swing. Unfortunately, the boss jumped away from me, so I wasn't able to quickly finish it off before the second one got close, which led to a kinda scary situation where I almost got hit by the fire. Thankfully, I did not, and after doing a slam and a punch, I was able to get a jumping attack that might have also been counter damage to finish them off on the first try, no hit. I ring the bell and bone out, then buy the weaponsmith box from Andre just in case, add a bunch of Titanite shards and level my weapon to +5. And use my remaining souls on strength, then send Lautrec on a one-way trip to Pancake City. Since I took the Master Key, I am not bound by the normal path of Lower Berg to Depths to Blighttown, and thank Gwyn for that because Capper and the dog's melee only no-hit sounds like hell. As such, I ride the elevator down to New Londo, then again down to Blighttown Swamp and touch this bonfire. This was a bit of a risky move. See, if I was able to first try Quelaag, which is obviously the goal, without sitting at it, I would have just been able to warp back to Firelink. However, now I am locked in and would need to manually climb out of the swamp, which is really only a problem in two parts. One, that elevator is janky AF, and two, that one specific toxic blow dart guy kinda sucks. But that's a future me's problem, so whatever. Anyway, I run across the swamp and strategically heal on my way in, with the goal being when poison fell off that I would be within RTSR range. I did have a poison moss clump, but I only had one and it felt kinda wrong to give myself some, so by doing it this way I can prove to myself that it is possible to get RTSR range with a renewable source. Anyway, time for the actual fight. I did a pretty decent amount of damage despite my weapon only being +5. I was extremely cautious as to not fight her near any of the lava pools. Unfortunately, she wanted to jump my bones and who am I to say no? It's funny, I was actually more worried she would clip me while jumping away, not that an actual attack would land. Anyway, on the second try I simply played just as cautiously and this time it goes totally fine. Quelaag down and I ring the bell opening up Sin's Fortress. I put several levels into strength and some into endurance, then decided to take on Ceaseless now. After all, I'm gonna have to come this way eventually anyway. Briefly, I did consider fighting him normally, but this boss is basically the prototype Dark Souls 2 hitbox tester, so nah. More souls into endurance and strength, and now it's time to escape Blighttown. Cautiously, I ride the elevator up, and manage to slip off without a problem. Halfway there. I actually thought I got hit by the blow dart guy because I lost health from poison at the exact same time it landed next to me, but I realized had I would also be toxic, so it's all good, and I'm back in the warm light of Firelink before I know it. Now I can ascend my weapon with Andre, then buy large Titanite from the... Oh, that's right, I need the Ember. Oh no. Okay, so, option 1 is to fight my way through Lower Berg, past Capra, and into the depths to grab the large Ember. Option 2 is Anor Londo. Honestly, I'm thinking option 2. Time for Sin's Fortress. Normally, I never have a problem with this place, just an uneventful run to the top, but this time I guess the nerves got to me. First, when I got to this room, instead of just sprinting through like I normally do, I thought I would take out the Lizard Man and wait for the boulder. But unfortunately, Snake Lady was hot on my tail. So I opted to quit out and reset their position, the goal being to still take out Snake Man and wait. Unfortunately though, I skill issued and took a hit. Then realized I was too far away to work properly. On the second run, I did what I always do and managed to make it to the boulder trap, but as I passed the final set of saws, I got a lightning bolt to the back. This is so rare, I didn't even bother to turn my camera. My hubris, I know. As they say though, third time's a charm and I successfully make it to the top. Of course, I drop down to grab the nearby hidden bonfire despite the boss being right there, then I attempt to take out the giant, but he throws a temper tantrum the moment I enter his room, so I back off and wait for the big baby to cool down before putting him permanently in timeout. Next, I fall off this ledge to confirm that there is a way to take damage to set up RTSR, then jump the gap and buy a handful of black fire bombs. Back to the ledge I go, I yeet myself off of it multiple times until I'm angry enough to fight the Iron Golem. I nearly immediately choked as my swing went under his foot and he tried to stomp on me, but I got away. I actually do substantial damage, and in just 2 hits he's already in his wall animation, and this is what the black firebombs were for. See, I had remembered that in at least some version of the speedrun, runners would use them to quickly knock him over and send him tumbling down from the ledge. What I forgot was that 1, I'm not a speedrunner, and 2, I was trying to do these bosses melee only. Yeah, I bet this isn't the boss you thought I was going to use firebombs on. Don't worry, I didn't for that one. Anyway, the sheer amount of damage I do is enough to almost kill him before he stands up, but I miss the final swing, nearly get hit, and then take him out. And with that, Iron Golem's down, first try, no hits. In Anor Londo, I inch my way towards these 2 sentinels in an attempt to pull only one of them. I managed to do so successfully, and since I was still in RTSR range, I hit like a truck. Fearing a mistake though, I used some more black firebombs to deal with them, then toss a Lloyd's Talisman at this mimic for the Crystal Halberd. I then sink all my levels into Endurance and begin making my way to ONS. The Raptors are up first, and I did take it slow with these first 2 enemies here, as I have definitely been caught by a stray throwing knife. And you know what you're about to be hit by? A stray ad segment. Wait, don't skip, it's me, I'm the sponsor. I have made another game. It's called The Joy of Hand Washing, and it's a cozy little auto-clicker where you help Gary here wash his hands, and in doing so, he will tell you some neat things about hygiene. Each hand wash is $1 in the bank, boy, wouldn't that be nice, and you can use them bucks to buy more stuff to more efficiently wash your hands. It's a nice, quiet little game. No, I don't know why Steam tagged it as horror. That is definitely a bug. There is nothing here, just a clean, fun time. Once again, to be completely honest and upfront, this is another small project that I wanted to make to work on more skills before the bigger titles that I have planned. Namely, my ability to make pixel art. And I fucking nailed it. It would mean the world to me though if you could check it out and maybe wishlist it and just be on the lookout for The Joy of Hand Washing. Anyway, back to the run. No guts, no glory, and I charge my way across the rafters, making sure to do the leap of faith at the end. Once safely across, I turned the lever twice to lower my platform down to Gwendolyn's arena. I only did this so I could have one of my arbitrary checkpoints, though in hindsight it might not have been any quicker to just run from the first bonfire. Up near the Batwing Demons, I absolutely made sure to have my camera on a swivel, and it paid off as they threw not 1, not 2, but 3 lightning spears at me. All that's left to do is parry the Silver Knight and I'm home free. What, did you think I would get hit? Ha, nah, I'm an elite gamer who only drinks crushed Doritos and Mountain Dew or whatever. I jumped the railing to skip most of the arena as one does, then tried to set up RTSR by the giant blacksmith, but the ledge isn't high enough. Thankfully, there is a high ledge near the 2 Royal Sentinels and the Great Bow Silver Knight, just have to dispatch him first. A partial parry. Awesome. You'll love to see it. Second try, I don't suck and take him out, then proceeded to drop off the ledge. Originally, I had planned to take out the 2 Royal Sentinels to do this uninterrupted, but that's dangerous, so instead I just patiently wait for them to return to their position before shattering my kneecaps over and over. And now it's time for one of the few bosses I was actually worried about, Ornstein and Smo. Ornstein has less health than Smo, and I'm much more used to Super Smo's moveset, so the plan was to slap Dragon Slayer with my halberd until he stopped moving, and thankfully I do a truckload of damage per hit. But this is where the problems start. So the game wants you to separate them using the pillars and positioning and whatnot. That's fine. But no matter what I did, I could not manage to find any good opportunities to attack. That's because Smo basically has 3 speeds: a slow lore walk, a brisk jog, and his shovel of death run. If he's shoveling, then obviously attacking is incredibly dangerous. What I want is for him to slow lore walk. But I guess today is cardio day because he just never stopped jogging? It got so bad that I just ended up baiting him into doing a jump slam attack and put all my faith into the heart of the halberd. It nearly cost me, but in true anime protag form, I managed to take down Ornstein and avoid instant deletion. Now that it's a one-on-one, the fight is significantly easier. However, there is one other spaghetti code quirk to this fight. Sometimes the hitbox on Smo's hammer stays active during phase transition and you can basically run into it at any point. I assume this happens because the game just didn't expect to need to deload it, but either way, I made a mental note of where he was attacking me when the transition happened and stayed well clear of it. Other than that though, I simply did the old bait the jump attack and run under him strat. There was an instance where I whiffed and he went for the butt slam, but it's fine, this loincloth was always brown, I swear. And after just a few more swings, the dastardly duo goes down on the first try, hitless. Up top, I talk to the physical manifestation of a pair of words that rhyme with Bobby Bilkers, and while I gaze longingly into her eyes, how about you all gaze longingly at that subscribe button? I'm trying to reach a decillion subscribers by the heat death of the universe, and I can only get there with your help. Thanks everyone, I appreciate you all. Anyway, prime back pain here gives me the Lord Vessel, and then I set up RTSR in the hall again. This Crystal Halberd is great, but I don't want to be in a position where it breaks, so I think it's time to get another weapon. Over at the Giant Blacksmith, I buy 5 Twinkling Titanite and commit a crime punishable by death. Death for him, that is. The giant blacksmith's hammer is... Wait, it's the blacksmith's giant hammer? Has it always been like that? Doesn't giant blacksmith hammer sound better? I mean, maybe if it was blacksmith's giant hammer, like with an apostrophe S, but... whatever, I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Where was I? Ah yes, the big hammer is mini strong and a favored weapon amongst SL1 runners. So I return to Andre and have him max it out for me, then dump any remaining souls into strength. For once in my life, I actually remember to place the Lord Vessel before running off, and then I journeyed back down to Blighttown for 2 reasons. 1, to grab the Daughter of Chaos bonfire, and 2, to do Ceaseless, who I had already done. Yep, memory of a goldfish. Well, while I'm here, I might as well do some of the other bosses. I used the cliff and lava to get into RTSR range, which was stupid as it meant I couldn't do the short fall to the bonfire, but on the upside I am able to one-shot the Capra Demons. However, that power went straight to my head as I decided it would be a good idea to charge at them and attempt to hit them before they hit me. It did not go well. Second try, I'm not a moron and keep my health high enough to drop off this ledge and risk it by standing close to the burrowing rockworm, but it pays off in the end. I then clear out the Capra Demons and then fall off this ledge to set up RTSR. In hindsight, I probably could have used the hallway next to the Demon Fire Sage's arena, but oh well. As for that fight, he loved using his stupid magical explosion attack that I hate with a fiery passion. He did it several times while I was trying to run at him, giving me just barely enough time to slip by and not get hit. I should have eaten coal before this fight because now I could produce diamonds. Fortunately, my damage was substantial per swing and he too falls hitless on the first try. I thought about doing a centipede now, but decided that since the elevator was active, it's good enough and headed back to Darkroot Basin to take on the Danger Doggo. First, I actually have to get to the boss though, which is easier said than done when I get distracted by being able to see shiny things through rocks. I talk to Alvina to make sure the Forest Bros don't rain on my parade, then drop from this ledge repeatedly to get RTSR set up. There is a ledge closer to Sif's arena, but I figured this was the safer place. Now for the actual fight. I'm not at all worried about Sif's attacks. What I'm worried about is that, god damn it, I quit out and reload and she tries to pull the same stunt immediately again, but this time I was ready and dodged it, landing a strong blow in return. Then a follow-up and... I hate this game. Once again, third time is the charm and Sif goes down with just a few swings. I quickly grab the Hornet Ring for later, and I guess it's time for one of 2 areas I was dreading in the whole run, New Londo. Let me tell you a story. Originally, I had thought to do the whole game melee only, most of it wouldn't be an issue. Then, there's the Ghost House, where enemies can phase through walls and hit you from 12 kilometers away with Stretch Armstrong bullshit hands. I knew this was coming, I desperately wanted to make it work, so I had to try. First off, getting there isn't a huge problem. I mean, there are some dickish placements for the ghosts, like this one around the corner, but most of them spawn coming out of the ground and can easily be one-shot before they're even ready to attack. So by running forward and baiting a couple at a time, it's not an issue. When I actually get to the ghost house, there is no way I'm going in and fighting on their terms. Instead, I run by to lure as many of them as I can out to me. I don't know how that attack missed, but I'll take it. So the problem, as you can see, is that they will retreat before getting to the walkable ground, and I decided it wasn't worth it to keep the melee only thing, so I said screw it and started throwing firebombs. Eventually, I was able to thin out their numbers pretty handily, and once they were all taken care of, I hit this one through the wall. Then I run in and hit this one off to the right and let the other one that was chasing me reset. At this point, I thought there were only like 2 more, that one and the Banshee, so I ran in and immediately got stabbed in the back. And just like that, I recognized that I had made a decision to try and do everything melee, but as it is a stupid ass decision, I elected to ignore it. Back in Darkroot, I pick up a longbow, buy way more arrows than I'll need, level up 1 time so I can use the damn thing, accidentally pop Transient Curse a smidge too late, giving these ghosts a chance to both spawn and aggro and then hit me. Nice, I'm okay. Third try is once again the trick, and I managed to make it to Ingward, but then I made a mistake. See, there are ghosts on the underside of this bridge, and they will aggro you if you are at the top of the platform. So, to make sure I didn't get hit again, I stood slightly below that and shot Ingward, but this caused him to be pushed out of my line of sight. If I stand at the top, he will be hittable, but of course that attracts the ghost gals. So, I tried to lure them up and take them out, but slipped off the ledge without having pushed the ladder down. I honestly thought that this was a one-way trip, but you can actually make this jump despite it looking way too far. Neat, I learned something. Anyway, now that they're dead, I'm free to use Ingward's face as a personal arrow pincushion, which causes him to drop the key, allowing me to bypass the ghost house. I lower the water and use some poppable souls to get 1 level in endurance, then proceed to use this ledge to get to near RTSR range. I keep a tiny amount of health because I'm going to do the drop near the Dark Race to finish it off, and then it was just a straight shot to the 4 kings. The fight starts off pretty good. The first king doesn't do anything particularly dangerous and I hit really hard. But when the second king spawns, I messed up and dodged to the wrong side of his swing and get clipped by the sword. Strangely, teleporting during the death animation allowed me to quit out and reload outside the boss fog. I mean, I'll take it. I drop back into the arena, and this time the first king decides to be an absolute asshat, and the first thing he does is launch a magic projectile. I tried to dodge through it. I failed. Next, when I teleport back, I go through the fog and the ghost hits me. I don't know if this one should be counted or not because of how I got here. I mean, if I ran like normal, then I can almost 100% guarantee it wouldn't have hit me because I don't think I've ever been hit by that ghost, but, we'll just put a phantom +1 in the notes and bring it up again later. What really sucked is I fat-fingered the teleport save button and ended up saving my death while falling, so now I can't teleport back. That's fine, I'll just run like a normal person, I guess. This time the first king tried to go for an explosion, but my damage is so high I shut him down real quick. The second king did the easy to strafe vertical attack, which gave me plenty of time for bonus damage. And the third king survived on a sliver of health, which gave me a heart attack, but he went for a stab and that's easy enough to dodge, so they go down. I use their souls on some endurance and strength, and I head back to Anarlando where I quickly learn that lightning is super effective against boars. Now, my plan for this area is to slowly clear out all the crystal hollows from the first room and... So like I was saying, my plan for this area is to just run by everything with reckless abandon. Time for a possibly controversial decision. So I know Duke Skip is a thing. I don't really believe I can do it. I've never tried, I have no practice with it, plus by doing it I would miss out on everything between the jail and the bonfire, which there's a lot that can go wrong there, trust me. As such, I decided to get hit by Seath for the death, and I'm personally not going to count this as one, but if you do, just add one more to the total at the end. I then take the key from Lordron's worst security guard and begin my descent. Dodging the Japanese movie stars aren't a problem and I climb the ladder. Normally I just recklessly sprint at the key, but I figured it would be smarter to bait the politicians down the ladder and take them out. That was the wrong idea, apparently. Second try, I do get them to come down one at a time, and just watch this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game is conspiring against the run at this point. Next up is the library section with the two channelers, and normally I just run through, drop down, and ignore everything, but this time I actually took the time to take out the first wizard man and a couple bow hollows. When I dropped down, I almost got hit by the channeler spell, but narrowly managed to dodge it, successfully moving the staircase and going down the ladder. But that bow hollow at the top is able to aim way lower than we can, so I still wasn't completely safe. It's nothing that running in wide circles can't fix though, and just like that, I've made it to the next checkpoint. I almost get hit by this crystal hollow on my way, but thankfully he's just as bad at spacing as I am. Now I throw myself off this ledge repeatedly to set up RTSR. You might be wondering why I don't just go get Power Within, or the Symbol of Avarice, or Dung Pies. Yeah. That would have been pretty smart, but Power Within and Dung Pies are just too dangerous to go and get. Symbol of Avarice? Well, I'm just lazy. Speaking of danger, clams. Always be cautious when smashing unfamiliar clams, kids. Alright, time for Seath. I wasn't afraid of the boss's attacks themselves, those are all really easy to dodge. The only exception might be the tail slam, as it's kinda long and it goes really far behind him, but that's fine. No, see, the real issue is that his crystals can cause chip damage, so if he spawns them and I'm too close, sure, I might avoid the actual laser, but then take damage by basically just stepping on Legos. Well, I'd be kinda mad if that happened. When he breaks his damage immunity crystal like the big dummy he is, I hit his tentacle, making sure this time to not bury myself in his ball pit and instead work my way outward so I can get around him. He does actually do the tail slam here, but I was far enough away that it didn't affect me. After he turns around, I run at him hoping to bait a long-range attack, and it's successful, so once again into the darkness I go and whack his crotch until he's dead, but this is where the fun times stop. The two remaining Lord Souls are going to be far more difficult. I figured I would go get Lost Isolith out of the way, so I head there first. That means the Centipede Demon is up, and naturally I nearly die clearing this little gap, then try and stay as far back in the arena as possible to bait the boss closer to me. He likes to do his stretch Armstrong attack, which is not what I want, but eventually I do trick him into standing on the platform. At that point, I cut his tail off and kill it for the orange charred ring, and quickly hot swap it on and use the lava to set up RTSR, then absolutely obliterate him for an easy first try. I pump endurance some more and make my way across the boiling lake of lava. Now, before I get there, let's just clear up how this is going to go. The Bed of Chaos has a nice attribute in that death or quitting out will not reset your progress on the boss. The devs did this because the boss is shit. But I didn't know if that's acceptable. I mean, a normal no-hit runner would probably definitely do the bow firebomb strat, but I'm not doing that because I'm stupid. So I think I'll just do my normal quit out strat and hope for the best, okay? Okay. On the way up, I do have a heart attack when I was randomly possessed to hit this Chaos Eater, and it didn't flinch. Fortunately, it missed as well, but why did I do that? Why did I take an unnecessary risk? Okay, so first phase of the boss, super easy. Just sprint to the right as far out in the arena as possible and slip under his hand when he's doing an attack. Then, after quit out, re-enter and run to the left, again hugging the wall. Make sure to avoid the flaming stick, jump the gap, and get Mr. Mosquitoed. So it begins. On the next try, I studied the boss's attacks and timed it perfectly, only to not actually hit the jump button. I'd love to tell you that the third try was once again the charm, but it wasn't. Or the fourth. Or the fifth. But, on the sixth try, I managed to get to the ball and bust it. Now all I have to do is run directly forward, drop down, and kill the boss. Unfortunately, all I did was run directly forward and die. Almost made it. Fun fact, the arms and fire tendrils are on different AI attack routines. Apparently. Finally, I made it into the hollow where the boss tried one last time to screw me over, but I managed to get through and put this bed bug to rest. That sucked. And it's probably only going to get worse because now I have to go through the catacombs. But first, a little side adventure to Sin's Fortress. And for the first time in ages, I actually got hit by one of these saws. Great, thanks, I'm losing it. So, while I navigate this fun game that I'm having fun in, I'm going to say originally I had planned to do the DLC with this, but if you look at the runtime of this video, you can probably guess that's not the case. Same with the optional bosses. I think it was just fatigue at this point, like making some dumb mistakes like that just sucked the fun out of what I was doing. In the future, I'd be happy to do this again with DLC and whatnot, but for now, I decided to just finish the run. Eventually, I make it to what I was looking for, which is the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring. Guess Griggs gets to live. Alright, time for hell. So, as you know, this place is filled with Tonys, and not any normal Tonys, endlessly respawning ones. However, I remember that there was a way to basically skip the whole area if you drop down at the right place. But I couldn't remember where it was, and I kinda just died. I thought I was supposed to jump across this gap, but that didn't work either. Then one of the skeletons showed me his best impersonation of his wheelie cousin. And then it happened. Again. On the next try I got hit, but good news is I figured out where to land. Alright, all I gotta do is dodge. Are you serious? Alright, I made it! I'm going to scream. What if I just kill all the Tonys really quickly and then drop... Okay, plan. Pull the Tonys back away from the fireball guy and quickly down it, and fuck! On this attempt, one accidentally fell off, and so I quickly dispatched the other and fell and actually made it. Thank every deity in this game, I don't even care anymore. Then I quickly fell off from this platform, landing right next to a wheelie bro and somehow not getting hit by it or the other one down below and booked it straight for Pinwheel. He is... well, Pinwheel, and he dies hitless on the first try. Are you surprised? I navigate the Tomb of the Giants with ease, making sure to touch the bonfire to warp and then let Patches push me off this ledge so I could quickly grab this skull lantern here and then get the hell out of dodge. Also, no, I'm not counting Patches' kick as a hit because it does no damage. Anyway, I take the lantern back to the asylum where I traded with Snuggly for the fog ring. Yes, you know exactly where this is going. I put both on while running to Nito, and that actually kind of messed with me as I'm so used to how these enemies react, but with these rings equipped, their detection was just much smaller, so it kind of threw me off. Anyway, Nito, by equipping both of these rings, the skeletons in the arena don't notice you, which is good because fuck those guys. One of the first things I wanted to test was whether I needed to actually dodge the toxic sword stab or if I can do the block trick. Okay, it's fine. What's not fine is that Nito did his miasma attack and I ran just a tiny bit too close to a skeleton and it noticed me. Second try though, I'm very careful with my positioning and the first of the dead becomes the second to last of the newly dead. Finally, it's time to end this. First, I dispatch the Black Knights in the area, then drop off this ledge to get into RTSR range. A really long time ago, I remember watching a speedrun that used the reinforced club to basically stun lock Gwyn, and I thought, hey, that club and the giant hammer have the same moveset, thus it can be used to do the same thing. So, my master plan was to just walk in, parry riposte the opening, then stun lock his divine cheeks to death. Problem, I don't know how to actually do that strat, so... Oh hey, lucky! Aww. Also, I missed a parry at some point, which would 100% be how an actual no-hit run ends for me. After a few tries though, I found a little groove, and with the help of some decent RNG, my sorta segmented main boss run is finished. You know, it's crazy, the run started off so good, only really taking like an actual hit from, what, Quelaag? But just Bed of Chaos and Gwyn royally skewed those numbers. Jane, would you kindly put the total numbers for bosses and overworld hits on the screen, and also for fun, separate out Bed and Gwyn's numbers? Thanks. Wow, Yep. I don't know what the numbers are because this script was written before editing and I only kept a running total, so I'm just as surprised as you are, dear viewer. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this week's video. It was a lot of fun. I did, I did as good and as horrible as I thought I would. I definitely thought Bed of Chaos was gonna be the, the end all, the run killer. I mean, it was, right? Bed of Chaos really kind of fucked the numbers, but it's fine. But this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. To be fair, that's because I had DSR Gadget and I didn't have to just hard reset every single time. But I'm looking forward to maybe doing this again in the future, except as an actual proper full no hit. That'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I'm not scared at all. I'm also looking forward to doing it for the other games whenever I get around to doing that. And well, I guess we have a winner. I was definitely paying attention. Sovereign of Night, congratulations. You are this week's Grand Champion.